Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Jason Allen. I am a realtor with Keller Williams Realty in beautiful Palm Springs, California. It is Monday, March 13th, and I want to mention, yes, I am in my home office, and yes, I am wearing a t-shirt and shorts because it's gorgeous out finally. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about the current market statistics where I am. So I focus every Monday on Palm Springs. There are 9 cities in the Coachella Valley. I can sell in any of those. I tend to focus on just a few because they're at my end of the valley where I tend to be most of the time. Palm Springs being my home base, where one of my offices is. I have another office in Rancho Mirage, which is also a market of mine. Why do I focus on Palm Springs? Because it's indicative of where people want to be at the moment. And often I will tell you, people know the name Palm Springs around the world. They'll come here, and when they start looking at a house, we look at these numbers, and then we start moving outward. And just like any city suburb relationship, sometimes people will move further from the core in an effort to get more value for their money. So just because I focus on these doesn't mean this is what's happening in other markets, but it's what you can identify with if you know the name Palm Springs. All right. I'll go through them very quickly, and then I want to focus on a few things. Unit sales, we are down a bit from a year ago. All of these numbers reference this month versus a year ago. My this statistics platform enables me to go back even further. But about June of last year is when we started to see the market shift. So right now we're at 29 sales of single family homes. Median sales price is down 21% over a year ago. Inventory is up significantly. In February of 22, we had 70 units, so we have more than double the number of homes on the market, which is good for buyers, not so good for sellers. Days on market has increased significantly. We're up to 75 days currently. And days on market does not include the time of escrow. So this number is measuring the average or demonstrating the average number of days based on when a house was first listed to when it went into contract. An escrow is typically 30 days. It might be 180 days. All depends on what the two parties negotiate. Sales to list price is down about 10%. Now, when we go to condos, you're going to see this is a smaller number, but essentially today what we're saying is a home goes on the market for $1 million and it'll sell for $980,000. So a year ago, however, when you would go on, you would sell for, if I go to February here, you'd sell for 108% of what the house was listed for. So we were 8% over what the house was listed for. Very different dynamics. I'll get into one of those reasons in a moment. So then this number here, the 94.5 sales to original list price, essentially, if there's a price reduction, that's what this is factoring in. So some homes are coming on where sellers are still looking at a market a year ago or 2 years ago, coming on too high. And by too high, it's the market will not give them that number. So they have a price reduction and then ultimately go into contract even a little bit lower than that. And these are averages. So some homes are still getting multiple offers and going over. I posted on my Facebook page a great opportunity, not my listing. I wish it was. It was $1 million for a house on Olive. My understanding is they got 5 offers and are north of that $1 million. So it's not as if we aren't seeing multiple offers still. And there we go. This number tells us that. So there are 31% of our sales are above the asking price. For homes, 4.76, 4 3/4, almost 5 months worth of supply. Again, that goes back to this. And what is supply? Supply is if no new homes came on the market today, it would take almost 5 months for everything we have to be sold. If we look at median sales price, median is right in the middle, not the average. It's half of the homes sold for above that, half sold for below that. We're down 12.1% over a year ago. So our price per square foot is being impacted when we talk about single family homes significantly. 12% is a lot, out of $100, that's $12. That's a lot. And then down here, which is a number you don't usually cover, but essentially 29% of the homes were sold within 30 days, 50% were sold in 60 days, 64% were sold in 90 days. These are cumulative percentages. So what that means is that really 64, so what, 36% of the homes are actually on the market for longer than 90 days. Now, I'm not quite sure, and I'm not a statistician, how that relates to the total days on market. I think that's the average. So that makes sense in a way if you think about it. If some homes are hitting the market on a Friday and by Monday they have 5 offers, that's showing 4 days on market, 3 days or 4 days on market. And then you have others that are going for 100 days, 120 days. You obviously can't see a lot of my hand gestures. You'd think I were Italian. I'm actually of German descent. Apparently, German Americans talk with their hands a lot too. Condos, unit sales. We are down considerably from a year ago, 25 per month. Our inventory is also up. Run through these days on market, 48. Again, sales to list price. Notice that the deltas are not quite as dramatic here. And then certainly when we get to our median sales price per square foot, we're only down a fraction of 1% over a year ago. And then we get down here and condos are actually on the market a lot longer. If you look at the sold within 90 days, I beg your pardon, I'm going to reverse that, are selling much quicker. Now, that's kind of makes sense because maybe like you, maybe not like you, you're looking at this and thinking, hey, I'd like to buy a condo in Palm Springs because where I live, San Francisco, Chicago, wherever, I'm not ready to make a full-time plunge to that new market of Palm Springs. I want to go on vacation there. Maybe I'll rent it out on a monthly basis. Likewise, if you're a snowbird, I like that term. You live in Minnesota, Chicago, but you're retired or semi-retired and you want a condo here, you don't want to be here full-time, so you're not buying a house. That is one reason we're seeing such a huge delta between single-family homes and condos. Now, I often go to one other thing that I like to show folks, and that's simply that the good people at Chicago Title send me a report, and they're showing that we're still in a seller's market, barely. Here's what's really important to understand why we're being impacted so dramatically. If you look at simple Google mortgage calculator, and we say, we say we're going to take a $500,000 mortgage out. I'm assuming all things being equal with respect to your credit, your income, and so forth. $500,000 mortgage, maybe I'm buying a $700,000 condo. 30-year fixed at 4.5%, which is what we were at a year ago. You're going to have a house payment, not including insurance, taxes, or, just insurance and taxes, we'll say, $2,600 a month. Now we bump up to 6.5%, and you're at 32. That's a big difference between those two. And then you take it to 7.5, which is about what it is today. We're at almost 36. And if you're going to go to 30 or 8.5, which is where we could be in 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe 2 months, and now you're at 38.45. So why do I bring this up? I'm bringing it up for 2 reasons. One, as a buyer, if you're thinking of buying and your house payment is important to you, where that number lands, maybe what you can qualify for or what you can afford. So now like we'd have to go down. If I can't afford an 8.5% interest rate, maybe I can only borrow $400,000, and that's going to bring my payment down. But remember that we're not seeing huge price reductions. So if you're at a borderline, you have to think about where the interest payment is going to put you. And then for sellers, remember that every time the interest rate goes up, there are fewer buyers that can handle the price you've presented if you're, say, at a year ago pricing it based on a year ago, or even 3 months ago when the interest rates were 2 points lower. So timing does become very important. And for sellers, what I can tell you is as interest rates go up, fewer buyers are in the marketplace. Or you have cash buyers who say, I don't really care what the interest rates. In fact, I want the interest rates to go up because that means fewer buyers in the market. And then I can hammer you as a seller on price. So all is just information. I always like to present information. You get to decide what's important to you, how it fits in your matrix. If you are looking to buy and you are sensitive to how much you can borrow and what interest rates are, we should be talking, or you should be talking to your realtor soon, like now. And if you're a seller and you're considering selling and your timing is important and how much you get out of your home is important, we should be talking soon. That's all I got today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next week.